going to go sort of in reverse order because we've talked a lot about the SAC already. But one of the games that I think is really going to draw some eyeballs this coming Friday night, East Side at Adams Central. Adams Central obviously had to change their schedule a little bit with Belmont not playing. Then they go up to Fremont. Luckily for them, Southern Wells only playing JV football, so there was an opening there. It made sense. The puzzle pieces fit together. Yeah. I don't know that a lot of people got a chance to see Adams Central win 42-12 at Fremont. But East Side, we thought Heritage would take a next step with Casey Kolkman, with Kiel Eldridge, with what they've got going on out there. They lost at East Side 49-7. The Blazers, I mean, I think out of any team out there, the Blazers looked like they hadn't missed a step more than, I mean, it looked like they were playing midseason last year.
When you return the amount of experience they did from a year ago, 8, 9, 10 starters on both sides of the football, it is almost picking up where they left off. And even without much of a spring and summer, it looked like Eastside hadn't missed a beat. Now they go on the road to Monroe and take an Adams Central team on that looked really good last week in taking care of Heritage. So I think when you look across the schedule this week, and other than the Northside Dwenger game, that may be the second most intriguing game out of anywhere because of the lofty expectations we have for both of those teams.
When you take a look at Leo and Angola, Angola put up 50-plus points. Leo put up 50 points on Woodland. DeKalb is obviously rebuilding a little bit. They lost a ton of starters. They went 8-3 last year. They've got a new head coach. But Angola hit the ground running offensively. How do you see Leo Angola playing out? That game is up in Angola. These are two teams that have shown, hey, we've got high-powered offenses. Tucker Hasselman running at the quarterback position looked really difficult to bring down for opposing defenses, while Leo seems to have a cavalcade of guys back there, and Mason Sharon's not even healthy.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
I was really impressed with Angola. How quickly we forget, 1 4-6 year, and they're kind of off the radar after back-to-back undefeated regular seasons. So Andy Thomas has that team trending back upward. Tucker Hasselman in his second year at quarterback, I think, helps tremendously, having experience there. And Leo going up there, I think, should be a really exciting matchup. Like you mentioned, Mason Sharon's still out, but a lot of experience on that defensive unit. And Jackson Barber, I think, has taken the next step forward. He has weapons around him. And that offensive front, I think, will be key for Leo. How does Angola compete on defense? So that could be the big matchup to watch, that Leo offensive line against the Angola front seven.
Other games outside the SAC that I really want to keep an eye on, Columbia City at Central Noble. Central Noble goes into West Noble. West Noble didn't lose a game last year in the regular season. Central Noble wins in Ligonier with a 24-year-old head coach making his debut. Meanwhile, Columbia City, obviously, the Fox Den was rocking as they opened up that stadium. You couldn't ask for anything better than a 38-0 win over Churubusco in a county rivalry game.
I don't think I've guessed the Central Noble West Noble game right in like 10 years.
Like, why would you? Why would you?
Every year.
It's a toss-up.
Last year I was like, Central Noble, and then West Noble, beats in week 1, and vice versa this year. You're thinking West Noble undefeated, lost some guys, but coming back with some experience, and Central Noble goes and dominates that game. So, yeah, that could be a fascinating one to watch, with Columbia City now trying to move past the excitement of opening their new digs and see how they take things on the road. And Greg Bolt was phenomenal. I just kind of want to see more of Columbia City before I put them up in that upper echelon of the Northeast 8, because of their opponent last week had so many new guys and so many new positions. It's going to be a rough year, a rebuilding year for Pulsade and Busco. Give them a year or two and they'll be back in the hunt. But, Columbia City took care of business against their Whitley County rival. Let's see if they can take care of Central Noble, go to 2-0.
One other non-SAC team that impressed me to a certain degree, I know Warsaw's coming off its first sectional championship ever.
Yeah.
They go to Huntington North. Huntington North gave up, I believe it was 489 yards of rushing.
That's a lot.
But they were still in the game.
They were still in the game.
But they were still in the game. That's the thing. It was a one-score game. I believe 42-35 was the final. Are they starting to take that next step up? Because when you go out to those Bob Prescott practices, like, they're so positive. Like, you want them to do well. They're drawing from an entire county. The linemen have never been a problem, whereas some places you don't have enough big bodies. For some reason, that's not a problem at Huntington North. They've got the linemen, but now it looks like they may have some skill position guys to go with it.
I truly think when you look at Bob Prescott's coaching resume that he's the perfect hire for Huntington North in terms of rebuilding something. We remember the years of Reef Gilg when they were competing year in and year out, and they weren't, great teams, but every week you expected them to compete.
They would slug it out with you.
Yeah, right. I mean, for a while they were the second. Them and Kokomo would trade the top spot in the NCC before they switched. Huntington North switched conferences, so. You're always going to have kids. I mean, like you said, you have a whole county, you have a big school, and you just got to get kids out. Easily get 100 kids out at Huntington North. So I think it's that forgotten team in the Northeast 8 that if they can put things together, they're going to be a consistent challenger, and Bob Prescott definitely has them trending in that direction.
Speaking of one other Northeast 8 team, East Noble, weren't sure exactly where they were going to be. They had some great plays in the scrimmage game against Concordia, but we're looking for more consistency.
Yeah.
You replace Bailey Parker, you replace Laith Al-Muhammadawi, you replace, name whoever you want, Hayden Jones.
Yeah, Hayden Jones.
But a 31-0 win over a Plymouth team, we don't know all that much about Plymouth, but historically pretty strong football program. And now they're going up and playing on the road against a Northwood team that, again, is historically pretty strong, but they didn't play in week 1.
Yeah.
So it's a real wild card. But things are trending in the right direction for East Noble.
Yeah, and Northwood, one of those teams that sometimes can be a sectional matchup for East Noble, so you like that matchup in terms of seeing them early. That defense in particular for East Noble, we knew what offensively they were losing with Bailey Parker and 4,500 yards of total offense, and I knew they were getting Justin Marcellus back, and that lineman the line could be a little bit in flux, but defensively, 4 interceptions. Rowan Zolman, a couple interceptions.
I like him a lot.
That kid at the end of the year is going to be, we hear about some kids when you and I talk about kids outside the SAC, and some people will be like, well, how would he be in the SAC? That's not going to be a question with Rowan Zolman.
He's got the size.
He can play anywhere. He can play in the SAC. He can play in the MIC down in Indy. The kid is phenomenal, and he's still just a junior. And with him anchoring the back end of that defense, I think they could be really special and maybe be that difference in the NE8 against teams like Leo.
And you got Nick Munson there, kind of the Wes Welker of the,
right?
of the Northeast 8. He just makes catches in the slot and makes everybody look bad.